Jai Jinendra. Welcome to Adults Class 2, Practical Applications of Jainism. Let's start with the Nokar mantra. Namo Arihantanam, Namo Siddhanam, Namo Ayariyanam, Namo Ujjayanam, Namo Lohisavasahanam, Eso Pancha Namo Karo, Sarva Pava Pranashano, Mangalancha Sarvesim, Paramamavai Mangalam. Welcome back. This class, as you know, has always been about how to use Jain principles to increase the quality of your life right now. Not far in the future, not in your next life, but right now. And that means it works even if you don't believe you're a soul, if you don't believe there's an afterlife, or you don't believe in karma. It'll still work. We are lucky to live a life not surrounded by violence or food insecurity or things like that. So our problems are small. But the thing about problems is that they're like water. They expand to fill the container they're in. So they're not small to us because they become all-consuming. And one of those pernicious and relentless issues that we deal with is chores. Whether it be folding laundry, cooking dinner, taking out the trash, paying the bills on time, doing the dishes, cleaning the house, caring for the lawn. We have home repairs, car repairs, we clean up after the kids, and the list is endless. And it feels like the chores are endless that we do. When one chore is done, it's time to start on the next chore. And where's the time for Jainism, and where's the time for life, and where's the time to do anything but work and chores and sleep? Now, it might seem crazy to ask, but is there some way Jainism can help you with your chores? Well, your religion is supposed to be working for you, not the other way around. And life can often be mundane. So of course Jainism can help you with your chores, because Jainism is the truth. And the truth will set you free, whether you believe it or not. Whether you believe in Jainism, whether you don't believe in Jainism, or anywhere in between. So today we're going to talk about how Jainism can help you with your chores. Believe it or not, the chores aren't the problem. The suffering is the problem. You might say, oh, that's a matter of semantics, right? The chores cause the suffering, so it's just saying the same thing. But that's not true. The chore does not cause the suffering. You cause the suffering. Now, if that sounds false or mystical or woo-woo, I'm saying, oh, you cause the suffering, the chores don't cause the suffering. Don't worry, we're going to spend the next hour explaining it. Why you cause the suffering, not the chore. So, for example, when it's time to do one of these things, you might get upset. You might say things like, I shouldn't have to do this. Or, this is a waste of my time, right? Or, most commonly is, I could be doing something better, right? We could be catching up on our latest book. We could be watching Netflix. We could be learning about Jainism, which would be much better than doing the chore, right?
Only there's a podcast that we can just listen to.
But that is that suffering that I'm talking about, that you add to the chore. This, oh, I could be doing something better, or this is a waste of my time. That's the suffering that you add. That's what we call the rag and the dvesh, right? The likes and the dislikes, right? You're focusing on one when you're regretting not doing one when you're doing the other. One thing that we should understand is why we don't like to do the chore. And it's different for everybody. And for some people, it's ego, right? They say, this is beneath me to do. I should be at a point in my life where I don't have to do this. And that's your ego talking. And that's you adding that layer of mental suffering on the chore. Your ego is causing you to suffer. And it's causing you to not like the chore. And it's causing you to associate that with the chore. So you think the chore is causing your suffering when it's not. It's your ego that's causing the suffering. And that's because the chore doesn't boost your identity like other things you might do. It's not a visible achievement. Nobody's going to praise you for doing it because you're just supposed to be doing it, right? And we get used to having praise for the things we have to do. It can't be optimized into any kind of status or anything like that, right? So our ego doesn't like us to do those chores.
Is that true though? Because for kids especially, they don't like to do certain chores.
Right.
And we would praise them for doing it,
Right.
but they still don't want to do it.
So that's a different one. So that's what I'm talking about when we say, well, we have to look and see why we don't like doing that chore. For kids, it's not ego. You're right. For kids, it's they'd rather be doing something else. They'd rather be having fun.
No, I think it's about preference thing too. They would rather do one chore than the other one because they just hate to do it.
Right. But it's not an option. That's a false choice, right? Rather do one than another.
Like Ishan hates doing dishes.
Right.
He would unload dishes, he would take
Right.
out the trash, but he would not do dishes.
Right.
So he would do other chores, it's just that one particular chore, he wouldn't even do it.
So we have to find out why. And that's hard because Ishan is not going to tell us the truth about why. We have to try to find out for him and then address that truth. Whether it's ego or whether it's he doesn't like getting wet, or why doesn't he like getting wet, or he doesn't like looking at old food, or
With kids, what I've observed is if you put them in position of power or decision making, it actually works well. Like in your example, if a kid is pushing back, and I've been applying, and the reason I'm saying this is I've been able to achieve some success with it. I'll not say completely, but give them an option that, hey, do you want to do dishes now or after 30 minutes? So even if he doesn't like doing it, he's actually now in position of power. Like now or 30 minutes, I'll choose 30 minutes. But you still have him do the work. But he feels like he made the decision.
That's
Right.
great. That's amazing.
Yeah. So that has actually helped, especially with my older one, who is also probably headstrong, as what your kid mentioned. So that
To
helps.
take ownership of the chore.
Take ownership and give them an option. Like the option is still your options, but they feel like they made the decision, so it's their own. You know.
So if it's an ego problem, if you notice that it's an ego problem when you do the chore, you have to realize that ego hates maintaining things. It likes new things. It's like novel things. It likes to be praised for things. It hates to do things because it's supposed to do them. Your ego hates to do things to maintain whatever the standard of cleanliness of your house, right? And so what is our weapon against ego? We have four enemies and we have 4 weapons, right? So what is our weapon against ego?
Be grounded, like stay grounded.
Humility is our weapon.
Humility.
Right. And so there's a chapter in the book on humility. And so we can use that weapon to fight that ego, to help us to do the chore. The thing about chores is that they're repetitive, as we talked about. They're morally neutral. You're not right or wrong for doing the chore. They're unavoidable. That's a big reason why we hate them. We have to do them, and we're not in control. We feel like we're not in control of our life because the chores are slowly enslaving us, right? As we get more and more of them, right? And so it's perfect for practicing letting go of that ego. It's perfect for practicing Jainism because these are the problems that you'll face most often. And so if you use your chores as a chance to take out those weapons from your arsenal, what are our weapons? What's our weapon against anger? Forgiveness. What's our weapon? We talked about ego is humility. Deceit. What's our weapon against deceit? Has less to do with chores.
Truthfulness.
Truthfulness. What's our weapon against greed? satisfaction, santosh, right? So you might say, when you're doing the chore, if it's not ego, you might think, oh, I hate this. It makes you angry, right? So you might use our weapon against anger. And then once you start fighting that, then the chore becomes very easy because you've addressed the problem of why you hate it. You might say, this is pointless, or things like that. I mean, have you ever encountered resistance? Like, you're on the couch and you have to do that thing, let's say washing the dishes, and you'd encountered resistance, right? From your mind. That's where the suffering starts, right? And you can't get started, and you can't do that. Have you ever tried just doing the dishes? Have you ever tried not thinking about it, or not doing that, or not doing this, not experience the suffering, and just do the dishes, right? You can shortcut it if you have practice. If you have practice, a lot of us don't, because we're enslaved by those things. And so we can't get up off the couch to do the dishes, because we're enslaved by the resistance and the anger, ego, deceit, and greed that we feel before we do that. And so one method that might help you is to just ignore it. Believe it or not, that works for some people. And I should say, all of these ideas don't work for everybody, but find one of the ones that work for you. And some people, that works for some people. They'd be like, I'm just going to ignore that part of my brain and just do the damn thing, right? Another thing that helps is, instead of ignoring it, you dive into it. Remember, what mindfulness teaches us is that you should do what you do with all of your mind. That is, when you do the dishes, you should experience the water. You should feel the heat. You should experience the different textures. And you should be in that moment. And that helps you ignore those things that say, why am I doing this? What's the point? I just did this. These aren't even my dishes I'm doing. It helps you ignore all of that because you're focused on your senses. You're focused on the task, right?
That will create more problems then. Like, why this kid didn't finish this food and why is he doing it?
No, but that's actually, you're not focused on the task then. You're focused on something else. If you can just fold one shirt fully and experience that from beginning to end. And guess what? You don't have to do it again. You get to do it again, right? If you can just complete the cleaning of one dish fully, and then you put it away. And guess what? You don't have to do it again. You get to do it again. Okay? So it's called different things, right? We call it mindfulness. You might know it as, if you're a sports player, being in the zone, right? Some people call it being in a flow state or something like that. That can help you do the chores. That works for some people.
Don't think I ever used that term for dishes.
One thing to do is to, when we experience a lot of agitation, we should remember that we can always stop and address that, calm down, or think about it, and then restart the chore. Don't keep doing it if you are continuously agitated in it. So now we've learned that we can actually use chores to, not only will Jainism help us do the chore, which we need it to do, but we can use the chore as an excuse to practice Jainism. Because we, depending on why we need to address our issue with the chore, we can use it to work on our anger, work on our ego, right? Work on our greed. And so we can use our whole life. We have 1,000,000 chores. We can have we just talked about, we have an endless amount of chores to do. And we thought about, well, I could be doing something better. I could be learning about Jainism. But what could you be doing better than practicing Jainism itself? We have an endless amount of time to practice Jainism. And so if you think about it like that, if you think about it as an opportunity, you'll get rid of the suffering that you've added onto it. There's no suffering when you take out the trash.
So I have a question on
Yeah.
this because I have a different perspective to it.
Sure.
In a way where I feel that maybe I do enjoy doing chores with like for my family, even outside the family, like going to friends' place and all. But when it comes in the family where you see that consistently you are doing the work,
Right.
and they know you are doing the work, right?
Right.
Initially you put your 100% and over the time you feel that, oh, nobody's contributing to it.
Right.
Then the situation changes for me, where I'm doing the dishes with the thinking I have been standing for whole day and nobody's there to contribute to it. Like,
Right.
now I don't want to do it the way I was doing it before. So I feel the thought process that comes, agitation that comes, is because you see there is no contribution to it
Right.
and the person is just taken for granted. In that situation, I want to still do that chore, but without hesitation. I know that the person will still not contribute, or maybe if he wants to or she wants to contribute, it will be just to finish the task. I have to still go and complete it. You understand what I mean? Like,
Absolutely, yeah.
this situation arises. I know for children you can eventually teach them, for adults you cannot. For adult has to observe sometimes and see, dishes are put this way, then only they get cleaned, right? Then the adult expects you come back and fix it for me, So it's like not doing the chore, as you said, finishing and putting yourself in that process to complete it.
Right.
Is a different way to, or just an adult coming and showing that I want to finish the task,
But it's an expectation thing then again, right? Like, because
Then
you
like-
expect it to be done in certain way. That person is doing it from their point of view. And because it happens with me and my husband too. He does his dishes and I'll go and rearrange it again. But
No,
that's
like,
because how I like
understand that. I totally understand that. But the rearrangement is how I want to do is a different part. Then the rearrangement, you see that it has just been thrown, not even rinsed. Like, like a basic understanding when you, I'm just giving a dishwasher thing. Overall basic understanding, like, okay, the person is doing for whatever longer time. And then it's not only husband, it's the one person looks at it, then I think the whole family tries to look at it in that way. Even the kids, when they see that the things are not seen, and if they're seen, they're unseen. Like,
Right. Right.
So till some point it was really, and like I used to love. Now from some point it just doesn't become that way. But you can't change sometimes. You can't just change the other person to just tell them to contribute to that situation. But how can I look at it at that point of time? Like,
Sure.
how can I look at that situation?
Sure. So what you're describing is very common, and it's something that you don't have to go through. And there's a lot of concepts involved, and I want to touch on it, a little bit of each of them. First, it's time to have a talk. It's time to have a talk with your partner, with your family, because we don't want people's contributions to go unnoticed. Perhaps all you may need is for people to notice that you're doing something, and then you'll happily do it. But a lot of times we feel like we're suffering and nobody even notices the work we do for the family. So first, talk with everybody and set the expectations about, well, I'm doing these, don't have time to handle this, I need you to take this, or I need you to take this, and that includes children. I need the children to take on this responsibility, whatever they can handle. So that's number one. Number two is we want to, as Poonam was saying, when we give somebody the responsibility to do something, we don't want to tell them that they're doing it wrong just because they're doing it differently. Well, that's how they do the dishes. We're gonna live with that, and if we can't, we'll live with that. Let's trade chores, right? Okay. So that's number two. Number three is we don't want to give anybody. We don't want to live our life in covert contracts, right? So, have you ever? Have you ever,
The
so
kids know what it is.
so if I was sitting on the couch and Apu came home and she was like, oh, you didn't do the dishes. And I was like, oh, I didn't know you wanted me to do the dishes. And she was like, well, the dishes are there. If I was sitting on the couch, I would have done the dishes, right?
Yeah.
And well, that's not how my mind operates, you know, right? So what that is a covert contract, right? Is I made a deal with you, but I didn't tell you about the deal. And I'm going to get mad because you broke your end of the deal that I didn't tell you about, right?
That's it.
So we don't want any of those.
Okay, that is the point. Yeah. See, that is the point. Like, why I have to tell? Like,
Yep.
It's a common sense.
everything is
Yeah.
there.
Absolutely.
Okay, I understand there are 10 things kept there. Only 2 things if you even do without telling is enough. Like, I don't want you to do all those 10 things with, like, you know, do this, do that, do that. So,
Right.
does that cause, because that does cause some kind of tension just to make that chore happen.
Yeah, I'm not saying you have to be somebody's mother, your partner's mother, and say, do this, do
Right.
this, do this. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that we want to have an open dialogue about our responsibilities, and so everybody is aware of them. I'm not saying that you have to be the person with the whip, right? Because nobody wants to be that, right? What I'm saying is, don't make covert contracts. Bring them out into the open. Okay? So communicate with your partner. As hard as that might be, you know, it might be very hard, but we have to start talking about it.
And believe me, that whole notion of why doesn't the person understand? Like, I don't think that, like, if you don't tell, they will not get it. Like, it's as simple as that. And especially for, I don't want to be journalist here, but guys, especially for guys, you have to tell them. Otherwise, they will have no idea that this was the expectation. They'll be like, okay, everything is going fine then, you know?
Yeah, many times like we forget to do that, like express what we need.
Right.
Like even with kids or family members, not just husband or anybody, like we forget to express our things, like that's what my expectation or I feel that way. I feel that way is like, I think we should always keep on doing it. I feel that way. It helps, I guess, because many times not everyone has intelligence or not everyone is at the same emotional level what
Right.
we are or
Right.
what they are. You can even ask like what you feel like or something like that.
Sure.
It may help, yeah.
And it changes like week over week, right? Like
Yeah.
if I have a busier week at work, then like we have the conversation and figure out, okay, what does the next week look like? And vice versa. So if it's busier
Yeah.
for him, okay, maybe I take on more of this
Yeah.
and he
Yeah.
takes on more.
That-
So
Yeah.
So we talked about how ego might get in the way, or anger might get in the way. One thing that gets in the way too when we have to pay our bills is anxiety, because we don't want to do it. Because if we know if we sit down to do it, right, we're gonna see the problems, right? We're gonna see that we don't have enough, or we're spending too much here, or I don't want to confront this situation. It's like not going to the doctor because you don't want to see something's wrong with you. Like, the thing's wrong. It's whether you go to the doctor or not, the thing's wrong. You just don't want to confront it because it will make you aware of it. It'll make you have to deal with it, right? So it could be, so we could use chores, especially something like paying bills, as an opportunity to confront our anxiety. Anxiety isn't anger, ego, deceit, or greed, but it's one of them. It's within that, right? It's one of the secondary ones. And we could use it up as an opportunity to confront that. And we should. It's a lot like, we don't want to confront it, you know. That's fine. That was a bad example. So what is a good chore session, right? When you do a chore, what should you be doing? Well, one thing to think about is nothing at all. Just do the thing, right? Another thing to think about is when you're doing something, especially for somebody else, think about like what they do for you while you're doing it. Think about your love for your family while you're doing it. Think about how you're taking care of your area, your space, and yourself while you're doing it. That might help you get through it, right? And so like when I wrap a present, I might think about the person that I'm wrapping it for and how much I like them or what my relationship is to them, and that helps me to wrap the present, right? And the thing to understand is that if you can't be at peace while you're taking out the trash or while you're folding the laundry, if you're agitated, if you can't be at peace while you're emptying the dishwasher, you won't be at peace during your retirement, or you won't be at peace when you feel like you have freedom. And that's what I mean when I say the chore isn't the problem. It's you that's the problem. It's not going to magically go away when you if you feel like I don't have enough time, I have to do all these things, I don't get to do the things that I want. And then you retire and you have an extra 8 hours a day. It's not going to get better.
Yeah.
You might think like, oh, I can finally go to the gym when I retire. Guess what? You're not going to start magically going to the gym when you retire because you have more time. Because it's us that's the problem. It's not the chores that are the problem. So, questions or comments about anything we talked about so far?
It's also a little bit about, I love the idea, right? Also habit stacking, right? Like if you dislike something, gamify it,
Right.
right? And maybe set up like if you have a guilty pleasure of watching some mindless video or something,
Right.
just stack it after that chore that you hate to do.
Right.
That hey, after I finish my dishes, I will do 15 minutes of scrolling X,
Right.
mindlessly. Instead of just doing it, like gamify it for yourself. That helps as well.
And one more thing is like some chores are really tedious, like washing dishes, like
Right.
looking at.
Right.
So break into, not that one, but if it's a complex thing, like, so break into
Smaller parts.
smaller
Yeah.
parts and then just do like maybe two things I will do it right now and maybe two more later or something like. If you break it into small parts, it gets easier sometimes.
Right. Right.
I
Yes.
also wanted to say, something about chores that you put off because of anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
And a trick that I use, which it seems very silly, but for some people it can be helpful, is if you actually put it in words, you actually write out a text that you want to say, like, I'm putting off the dishes or the bills or whatever it is because I'm stuck in this state of anxiety and I don't want to confront it, and I'm feeling guilty because I'm putting it off and that's making me more anxious. You just say that, really say it out loud 2 or 3 times, and somehow it can make the anxiety just completely go away.
Right.
It's very strange. It can work.
Right. And that's one way to confront executive dysfunction, what they call it. That's a $10 word for not being able to do the thing. That your mind is getting in the way of you performing something you want to do, something you need to do. And it is true that it sounds strange, but when you write it out or when you say it out loud, it helps you shine a light on how it's not a silly thing, but it helps you shine a light on how silly it is, and it helps you overcome it. Right.
I guess that's how therapy works. Like psychologists, you go talk to them. They are not like there to give you solution, but just talking it out loud, it just makes us realize like, oh, this is the issue, and it's not a big issue like where I cannot handle it. They will just like
Right.
They are not there to give you solution. They are just there to listen. But when you speak yours like loudly, you realize, oh, okay, that is there, and that's how I can do it.
Right. Right. So tell me about the chores. I've done a lot of talking. Tell me about the chores you hate to do, and we will all, as a group, try to help you solve your problems. And if you don't know why you hate to do them, let's talk about why you might hate to do it. I mean, it's not obvious that you will know why. You might think that, oh, you just hate the chore, but as hopefully I've convinced you, it's not the chore that you hate. It is whatever is underneath the chore, whatever suffering you're adding to the chore that you
I
hate.
have one.
Yeah.
So I love cooking, but when the kids are eating, they're always complaining. Like, I don't like this and I don't like that. Of course, they don't like any vegetables. That's
Right.
the problem.
Right.
But then it makes me not want to cook for them
Right.
because I know they're gonna complain.
Right.
So how do I overcome that?
Any help?
Maybe like cook something they would like and involve them, like making them involved, like part of it. So then they'll be like, oh, because they made it, they would eat it.
Make them realize how much effort do you put in
Yeah.
to make that dish, and then they will understand the severity of it.
So, make them eat in the school canteen for one whole week.
That's
That's a
what-
good idea.
Pizza and nachos every day.
Yeah.
So for in our personal case, it was very similar story. But then, one day somebody shared the food that our older daughter took, and that person ate it, and they were like mesmerized
Yeah.
by that food. They were like, "How is this so tasty?" Indian food, we have all the flavors that you can imagine in it. And then she realized that what she is actually criticizing, that people are dying for outside, right? So that helped, significantly. And then slowly started realizing that who takes the effort of cooking warm, hot food in the morning at 6 a.m.? How many, like, look at out of the 100 students that you have in a class, percentage wise, how many students in your class actually bring that?
Bringing it, yeah.
Yeah. So they were like hardly 5, and she is one of them. So that's what really helped to get back. Even I'm not saying we are 100% successful. Like there are still things, and that's where some of these other ideas help and make them part of the process. Ask them, what do you want to eat?
It's a slow realization process.
It is.
It
It
does
is
stay
slow.
with them when they grow adults, but at certain age they are just pushing back on certain things. I feel, and then that habit stays with them later. I feel that, like the one that we do, like in the morning we cook fresh. When they grow older, they might not like to eat just like that. They will also think to cook for themselves. I feel that, like, naturally it might come later to them, the way we consistently do years with them.
I'll wait for that day.
So,
Yeah, that do. I feel
So
that
the
will happen.
generation of all the women who are here have seen their mother in India, right?
Yeah,
Do it.
yeah.
I don't know how many of you really spent at that age in the kitchen
Yeah.
with your mom, or maybe you realize it. So we just hope that when they grow up, they would potentially also do that for their family or for themselves.
But the realization
But
process
at least,
happens
at
slowly.
least
Yeah.
as long as
you
they are
said,
aware,
yeah.
because my daughter, she doesn't spend as much time at all. But we just hope that when she sees her, as he was saying, get up in the morning and doing stuff. So that's just a hope that they will do it.
So while those might work, they are not the right answer, because if you make them part of the process and all that, they still might complain.
Sure.
Okay,
Yeah.
so it's not guaranteed to work, but it might work. The real problem is your pride, right? They complain,
Yeah.
and that hurts you,
Yeah.
and you don't want to cook anymore,
Right.
right? And so the real answer is, they might complain. The reason that won't work is you put your happiness in the hands of others,
Yeah.
and you can't do that.
Good one.
That is going to cause you further unhappiness. So when they're going to complain regardless, okay, whether you cook great food or not great food, because they don't know any better. Like I said, there's only really 2 times your kids appreciate you, is when they go to college and then when they have kids of their own. Those are the only 2 times you get. I'm sorry.
I think I was like that.
So, and
That's
we're
where
not
my kids get it from.
we're not there yet. So the thing to do is to realize that complaining has nothing to do with you whatsoever. And when you understand that, you'll be like, oh yeah, this sucks today. I get it. And it won't hurt you. You'll be able to laugh with them. Yeah, I hate this song too. And they'll be confused. Why did you make it if you hate it? And then they might start to realize, oh, we have to eat things we don't like or something like that.
Very good.
So the issue is your ego or your pride getting in the way of you doing the chore, which you have to do, which you are obligated to do, which you want to do. So that is how I would address it.
I would
Don't worry about the complaints. Just
Yeah.
take it.
Yeah, it sounds easy. Okay, all of this sounds easy when we're here. Okay, it's very hard to do, especially if it's not a child who you can brush off as they don't know any better. Maybe it's your husband or wife who's complaining, and now you really feel stung by it, right? Yeah, but the thing to do is to work on. I'm not saying they're right. Okay, I'm not saying that we should just take insulting things just like that. I'm saying that they're kids. They're going to complain. If it's good, they'll complain. If it's bad, they'll complain. You can't let it hurt you.
I'll clap for that answer.
And I think what I love about this is that also in that criticism you might actually be ignoring some of the good, useful feedback potentially they are giving you in that as well, right? If you keep your pride aside, there might be maybe they're complaining about 5 things out of which 2 might be actually correct.
Sure.
Right?
Once that happened to me, like
Yeah.
they were complaining the sabji is not tasting as good as it used to be.
Correct.
And I said, eat it, it is good, there's no problem in it. And when I started eating it, I understood that the salt was like, there was no salt at all.
Correct.
So,
Exactly.
So I would like to add 2 things to it. One, if there is a certain thing that your kids don't like it, it's okay. They're kid. Even as an adult, there are certain things you don't like. So it's okay to realize that particular kid does not like one thing and to exclude that, or you can tell them, okay, don't eat this, but finish everything else. The other thing we do is when we are all on the table together, not every day, but here and there, every other day, every 2 days, we try to, whoever cooks, so we like, thank you for making food. So if my husband makes a chai, I'll be like, thank you for making a chai. It's not about how it is, it's just saying thank you for making it. We do say sometimes, oh, it's really good, it's the best chai or whatever. And so the kids picked it up. So now they also say, thank you for making food, mama.
Nice.
So it's just small things like that, it makes you happy. And then you will think like, oh, kids do appreciate what I'm making. And it doesn't have to be good or bad, it's just about making the food is what the appreciation is about.
So with my elder son, I so like daily chores, weekend, I'm doing my stuff, doing this, doing that, cleaning, vacuuming, trash and this and. So I want him to do it as well with me, right? Not because I don't want to do it, I just want him to get used to it. Like the difference between me and my wife is that my wife always has been more active when she was growing up at home, doing stuff. So even now I see she's more energetic, more doing things. I'm not as much because throughout my childhood we had servants and all that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I see a difference, at least between me and my wife.
Yeah.
I don't want that the same thing to happen with my kids.
Right.
So I just want them to get involved on their own. On their own बहुत मुश्किल है, लेकिन बोल के भी when it comes to a point where I just like I'm done and then I lose it and all that, right? So with my younger one, I know how much ever I tell her, she's not gonna do it. So I'm at peace. Why? Because I'm not telling her at all. So I'm at peace. She is at peace. So I don't know.
Any help?
No, and I guess my husband usually says like sometimes you have to let it go.
Right.
Like the example, I grew up. It's winter time. We have to eat methi laddu and all that. Goan has to be there. This seed has to be there. That seed has to be there. And I was forcing it to my kiddos. And just 2 days back, my daughter is like, in USA, have you seen people eating those laddu? Like I told her, she's like, why we need to eat it? I'm like, you see, I feel I am the strongest in our family. I have this. I don't feel like I have good immunity. This that. And so she's like, how old are you? And how many people you seen in USA with your same age? I feel she says that I feel they are more powerful, more energetic, and way better than you, mom. So why you feel like those laddus helped you, and it will help us as well? Like if we don't like it, and I had no answer because I see in gym people are pulling up, getting like they are way stronger than me because we maybe meat or something. I don't know what helps them, but they will, yeah. And sometimes we have to put our foot down. And same with my husband. He says like, you have to let go. Like they are not gonna be exactly like us. So you have to let them grow up as per their environment, and that's how it is, I guess.
I think that's really helpful for your situation because letting go is a skill that is highly advised in Jainism.
Yeah.
Right? It's a muscle that you use that you can practice. And also, there are times when, as was mentioned, our kids are our own people. And sometimes we might think, oh, this chore is so easy. And they push back really hard, like disproportionately hard for some reason. Like they really don't want to do that particular, and they're fine with doing other things, and they really don't want to do that particular thing. So we don't want to impose our will on them because they are people. So we do a couple things. First, we let go. He's not here, but remember one of the tricks that we learned was I just reminded you of that 3 times. That's all I can do. I gotta let it go now. I can't waste any more time worrying about it. He was talking to his children, right? He just said, I just told you that 3 times. That's how much I can tell you. It's on your own. You suffer the consequences of whatever not doing it, right? So the first thing is to learn how to let go. The second thing is to see your child as a soul, right? That's just as old as you are, could be older than your soul, right? And that will help you not impose your will on the child. Because when we do, we cause some incalculable harm to that child. When we really impose our will on that child. And so, but if we see that they're a soul, it's more like a partnership and less like a parent-child relationship when we see that they're a soul, just like us. And of course, if we impose our will, we increase the violence in the house, right? We increase those feelings, those violent feelings in the house, which we don't want to do. So there is a point at which, yes, I want to teach my children chores. Part of my responsibility as a parent is teaching them these things and getting them ready for getting out of the house and things like that. But if you receive so much pushback, then it's okay to let it go and focus on another battle. And they'll find out one way or another that they'll have to learn that chore, right? Whether it's through you or through life that imposes it on them. But remember that letting go is something that should be celebrated. And it's not a failure of you as a parent when you let go. In fact, it is something that you should be exercising very often, is to let go. Because remember, all parenthood is a continual process of letting go. When children are in the womb, the mother provides everything for them. And then after they're born, it's letting go of that provision. And then as they grow up, it's letting go of changing their diapers. It's letting go of controlling their whole schedule. It's letting go of all that. So all parenthood is one continual process of learning how to let go. And a lot of times we forget that. And a lot of times we forget that that's what the end goal is that we have to let them go.
That is so true in a sense. Sometimes as a parent, we are worried way too much that our kids can't handle it. But they are capable of it. We are just undermining it. Like I was so worried when Nishan started middle school. How is he going to figure out the schedules? He's not charging his laptop on time. And then after we had our last conversation, I'm like, okay, you know what? He'll figure it out. Whatever. And he's doing just fine. Actually, I'm so surprised. Like, how is he man? He's like, no, ma, I got it. Don't worry about it. And I'm like, who is this kid now? Like, all of a sudden, I feel like he has changed. But at the same time, like from the last session, we had a conversation. I'm like, okay, I'll let him do. If he fails, he fails. But again, as a Desi parent or whatever, right? There are certain things you just can't let go. So I'm trying, but it's still hard. But like small battles, I'm letting it go. Like, okay, what's going to happen if he doesn't do gym laundry, or he'll wear the same one? That's his problem. Or if he doesn't charge the laptop, he has to figure out what to do in the school. So small things I am letting go. There are still big ones that I need to figure out though.
That happened to us also, right? When we were like at their age, we did not contribute as much as but when the life comes for us later, we just learn and do it.
Yeah.
Whatever comes, some people may have servants to work, some may not have. Whatever it comes, same will happen with them. They might have to face it later, and they will.
But I guess our since we moved from India, and we've been in family environment so much, we have those values with us stuck somewhere in our brain. But these kids are different because they have different environment. For our generation, it is little challenging, I guess, because we are trained to be protective for our kids in certain ways, especially when it comes to food or this that. And parents here are more into like they are doing their sports, or they're not worried about studies or just food. Their perspectives are different than us, and for us it's little challenging to move from.
Right. And that is your attachments talking, right? That is what you experienced in your childhood being expressed through you at your children. That is your likes and dislikes talking. That is your attachment to one thing and not another talking. And you think, I came out great, I like that. Why? I want that for my kids. But they're different people, right? And that is a consequence of not living an examined life, right? We're not thinking about the reasons we're doing things. We're not thinking about, well, why do I value this and not this? And why do I want my kids to value this and not this? And it might be something that is true. Like we want them to value honesty. We want them to value nonviolence. But it might be something that's totally crazy. Like we want them to value liking laddus. Why? Why do we want our kids to like laddus? They're here. They hate laddus. Because I like laddus? Oh, it's because I make laddus. That's why I want them to like it. Because I loved it growing up, and I can see how it makes no sense. But we didn't think about it. It's like I loved it growing up. Why doesn't he love it? He's my son. But it doesn't matter.
And I guess we push it so hard, they become total opposite. Then the struggle continues.
Yeah. So let's examine what it is. If it's more like honesty and nonviolence, well, let's push it on them. But if it's more like things that don't matter so much or that have changed because we're here now, that's fine. We were lucky to get non-Indian food one time a week. Right? And my kids, we're lucky to make Indian food 3 times a week now, right? Because, in India, I guess there's no Tex-Mex or whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever, right? So here we have like a taco night, or maybe like we have an Italian night or something, right? And so at first I was like, that kind of sucks. It's kind of like a loss of culture, and I'm sure their kids are going to have Indian food even less, right? But then I thought about it. I was like, well, that's the kind of trade-off my parents made unknowingly or knowingly when they came over here. My kids don't know Kutchi, which is the language we speak at home. They don't know it at all. And that's my fault. That's directly my fault. I have nobody to blame but myself for that. And their kids are definitely not going to know anything about it unless they sit in the Gujarati or Hindi class here, right? And so whether we make those trade-offs knowingly or unknowingly, that's the reality. But is it, what's worth hanging on to? Is it like nonviolence and honesty, or like these 5 vows? Or is it more like, well, that's just something I liked and I want to express it through them? Any questions or comments? Anybody else? I think we have kind of maybe 2 successful, at least we gave you 2 something to think about. Anybody else?
I think the let go idea is phenomenal. We did the exact same thing for our older one. She was not doing her laundry. And then it went to such an extent that Winnie had discussed it with the director of our school that she's not doing her laundry. The director's guidance was amazing. Like, let her deal with the consequences. Right? And then she's like, even so she couldn't hold it. She held herself from doing her laundry. 2 weeks after, she didn't have any clothes to wear.
Yeah.
So she had to do laundry. So that's how that problem got solved.
Yeah.
So let go is probably the most powerful weapon.
Definitely this class that gave me that kind of a solution, and it really helped. So
for me, my second kid, she's always complaining she doesn't like the breakfast and everything. Then I said, why don't you make your own breakfast? Then I said, you add your items you want to make, put it in the grocery list, I'll get it for you. So then she starts making her breakfast. It takes her solid 1 hour, and she's making it. And she eats one day, second day, third day she doesn't want to eat the same thing again.
That's right.
So now she knows that, you know, what I make is good. You know, it's just that she was stuck on it that what I'm making is not nutritious enough. So that battle was going on. I said, okay, I'll help you. Even I'll help you prepare things with you. So I worked with her. Now she's in a way where she does her little thing and she will just eat what I make. But she had to go through this whole process that it's not easy. It looks easy because I'm shopping for you.
Sure.
Then sometimes I tell, okay, now you can drive, go get your stuff if I'm missing something. So it just, they realize when they are in our shoes.
Yeah.
The
That's
partnership.
the battle with the teenagers, especially. They think they need to be in the control, and as a parent, we are like, no, you're still a baby. We know what's better for you, and it's like a fighting battle. They're like, no, I know what I'm doing, and then
But when they're,
sometimes they have to
when
fail.
they're a teenager, then you can do this partnership.
Yeah.
You'd be like, let's sit down, make the menu. What are the lunches you would like for the week? And then if they say mac and cheese 3 times a day, you'd be like, no, not healthy enough. But keep going, give me more ideas, and they'll make the menu. And you're like, okay, I can make this for you.
Yeah.
But here's your menu. They're not gonna complain when they make the menu.
Yeah.
I mean, you can veto certain things, but you know. And the gym clothes is classic, right? You just
Yeah,
they keep
they're
forgetting to tell you that they have their gym clothes to wash. Just let them stink for a little bit. Then they come back and be like, "Mom, I need this for tomorrow morning." And be like, "Come here, let me show you the machine." Here's literally what I'm gonna do. You can do it yourself.
Yeah.
But that is one point you made very well. I think we completely underestimate the individualism and the intelligence that our kid keeps on gaining over a period of time. You know, they do things that sometimes you're like, how did you even know this?
Yeah.
So, and because of that underestimation of their individualism and intelligence, some of that friction happens, right?
As he said, their soul may be older than us.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you never
Yeah, they
know.
change very fast. They change faster than we recognize most of the time. And they're ready to go before, they're ready to let go before we are.
Absolutely.
They're ready to take on more. Because we're not used to the speed of, because our life has been very stable for a long time. It's been a long time since we were children. And we don't remember that. It's very hazy for us to remember that. And so it's sometimes when you see, have you ever had that at work? I have a colleague. She's been there for longer than I have, 7-8 years. And she's in her 30s. And the problem is when you get there, right, you don't know that much, and the problem now is she can take on a lot of work, but they still think she's a baby, right, because of when she came on. And so it's like that with your kids, right? If you were there when they needed help changing their diapers, you don't think that they can do anything because you remember that kid, right? But it's a totally different person now. So thank you so much for,
So I have 3 takeaways.
Okay, great.
Let go. Don't let your happiness depend on, you know, don't give it to someone else. And look at your children as a soul. So those are my 3 key takeaways.
I would like, if you're able to implement this week, I would like to hear what you thought about it, and if that changed your outlook, and if it helped, or even if it didn't help, if you said, Timur, that was all bogus, nothing changed. I want to know. We want to report next week.
Yeah.
Homework.
Thank you so much for your time this week. I really appreciate that.
Thank you.